Hello, I'm Trent Counselor, and I'm here today with my grandpa, George Greene Jr. And today we're going to have our interview with him, and so we're going to ask him a couple questions here. So let's get right into it. Gramps, where were you born? What was your family like? Uh, did you obviously married and had children, but let's start where you were born. Where were you born?
I was born in Cheyenne, Wyoming. My father was in the Air Force, so we moved around quite a bit. Um,
Okay. What was your family like? How many brothers, sisters did you
I had
have?
one brother, one sister, and like I said, we moved around quite a bit, so it was no fun. Dad was a service individual, and we were sort of like little privates. He treated us like privates. Uh, we had to do what he wanted, or else he would beat us. And he beat mother, and it was a tough situation growing up.
So, yeah. Let's go into. So, you obviously married grandma, who is Lisa Green. Um, you guys had my mother, and what was college like? You said that you kind of had an interesting college experience.
College, well, I started out and about a year into it,
Where'd you go?
I went to School of Mines. It was pretty interesting. Uh, my work was Safeway. I had been with Safeway at that time, and I got promoted and raises about the same time. So it just looked better to work full time at Safeway than finish school, which was probably a mistake. Although been with Safeway for 50 years and made a pretty good living. Um, we had Alicia, our daughter.
Yeah. Um, so how would you describe your basic temperament or personality throughout your life? Would you say that it was the same as when you were younger as it is right now?
I think so. I'm pretty even killed and um enjoy life and enjoy the family, and it's nothing to get upset about.
You have always been pretty calm and collected, so I would agree with you there. Were there any big circumstances, events, or anything that impacted you throughout your development, your early years? You know, psychological or physical things that happened to you at a very young age.
Well, other than Dad beating us kids, he beat on Mother, and I tried to protect her as much as I could. Um, it wasn't a fun situation. He was in the Korean War, Vietnam War, and psychologically, I think that affected him, which made him mean. And
And I mean, fair enough. I mean, those are very big events. I'm sure impacted him greatly. So um, I could see how that would impact you, and it's very it's crazy to look at how you have been brought up because you are the complete opposite of that. You know, you were very respected, and you know you never hurt anyone. So it just shows to how people can change over time, and how just because your parents are raised like that doesn't mean necessarily you'll be brought up like that. So I think that's also a big thing. Um, let's see. What were there any circumstances or events that impacted you in your development in your teenage years? You know, high school, middle school. I mean, I don't know if you're a teenager in middle school, but I mean, you could have been, depending on your grade and whatnot. Was there anything big that impacted you there besides?
well, I knew from an early age when we lived in South Carolina that to be popular or fit in with the society or the peers, that you had to have the certain attire. And my grandparents came to visit us in South Carolina, and Grandpa always made sure we had the best shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So he bought us a pair of shoes, all of us kids, and they were called Ouija's. And I went to school the next day, me being the nerd that I was. Went to school the next day, and God, I became popular overnight just because of the shoes I was wearing. It's crazy. If you got the right car, the right shoe, you can fit in anywhere.
I see. Um, so next question, to kind of go into that, I guess, a little bit more. What important events or circumstances, uh, affected you in your adult life then? If, becoming popular was a big trend that you thought of in your teenage years, what would you say affected you the most in your adult life now? And also in terms to popularity.
Well, I don't think you can live by popularity. Uh, the big thing that affected me, I guess, in my life is having Alicia and then the grand boys, two grand boys. They're the best. That's that's what life's all about. Is kids, having family, taking care of the family.
So now, I'm going to ask you about two, or you can say two or three of your most important relationships in your life, and how they affected you and shaped you into who you are today.
Well, it was when I worked for Safeway. One of them was Jim Wilson. We're talking 40 years ago. He was the store manager, and he kind of took me under his wing and showed me the importance of getting to work on time, just integrity. And another person would be my grandmother. I lived with her after I left my parents' house at the age of 15, 16 years of age. She showed me how to work. She showed me how to take care of a checkbook, to save, pay bills, all the little life,
Come back into the camera a little bit.
all, all the little life, or important life things in life. Another person would be my father-in-law. Good man. He taught me respect of the elders, respect of human beings, how to treat people. He was just a good man.
That's awesome. That's really great. Um, so with that being said, do you have any regrets? What would you go back in your life and change? Is there anything? And
I have no regrets. Life's been good to me. I've had a good job, good family. I have no regrets.
what would you tell like your 20-year-old self, or your 40-year-old self, someone younger than you back in the day, that what's something important that you would tell them?
Be honest and truthful with yourself, and work hard, and you'll achieve what you want in life.
That's good advice. Um, what are you most proud of in your life?
Uh, I'm proud of my family. With they're just a good family. My wife, Lisa, my daughter, my grandboys, my son-in-law. It's a great family life.
All right. What are your beliefs about the afterlife? What fears or hopes do you have about that? And, um, you know, how would you want to be remembered once you pass away?
I believe that everyone goes to heaven, but you got to live by God's standards in this life. Uh, how I'd like to be remembered is he was a kind, gentle soul.
Um, so, one of the last things I'm going to debrief on, I had to think of a question for you. And I know as long as I've been alive, you have been a Broncos fan. In what way has football and being a Broncos fan affected you throughout your life? Has it had any effect?
I don't think it's had an effect. I do like the Broncos. I like Alabama. Uh, but again, it's just a game. It's just a game. It's not life. It's
Fair enough. Well, thank you, Grandpa. I appreciate
I
you
love you.
doing the interview. I love you too. And that's all I got. So, thanks.